Hey, so I'm here live in Chicago, and well, I wanted to share a little about SAP TechEd from an integration perspective, what was going on. And normally I would do this, yeah, in different formats, and I can see that look like there's some sound on. If there's any issues, do let me know. Um, so yeah, I normally share a little about what I'm doing at these events, what I see as the big thing that are going on, and what's really happening. And I'm stuck currently in Chicago. So hopefully I'll get a flight here in a couple of hours via Brussels and then Copenhagen. I'm looking forward to get back to home. So the key thing that I actually saw here, so there's quite a lot of things going on in the integration space. I'll try to cover some of them, and I'll probably cover some others in the coming releases or in podcasts or something like that. So one of the key thing is PI is dead. I'm not really sure how to phrase it the most diplomatic way, but and I guess this is what we have been seeing for a period of time. The investment from SAP is going into the cloud application and cloud product, and that makes a lot of sense because that is where customers are moving. So it would not make sense to spend a lot of money and effort on something that customers is not really using anymore. I hope you understand that. I think there's like 10,000 customers on the PI system, so it has a huge base. But on an integration perspective, or what they will be using, there will still be created new interfaces in it, and that makes a lot of sense because it is really useful for it. But on the other hand, there may be challenges, and I guess it's reached the maturity that you can with that tool. The next is you would want to do something similar in the cloud products. So there'll be a new release of PI without BPM and without BRM. So just PI, and I would imagine B2B toolkit in 21, 22 timeframe, as I recall it. Obviously, depending a lot of what's going on and what customers is doing. And I think the main part, if you want to run on-premise and create new content, at least for the technical BPMs, you want to use the cloud platform for cloud platform integration, either run it on premise or in the cloud and use that as a basis for it. And when talking about cloud, that was really where the big focus was, because that is where it's a lot easier to innovate and develop. And one of the key areas that we could actually see this was at some of the other tickets, years back, you would experiment with what's coming out with XI 30 SP15, and it would probably take 3 months, half a year before you're actually able to use any of this on your own system. So in that perspective, it's really nice that you can actually go try it without having to wait for someone to procure, install, and getting it up and running. So I think that's a focus that a lot of things we're seeing is a lot easier to consume and get started on. Then obviously the big question is, how do customers adopt, and how do you say, okay, now we need to use these things? Because I see right now a lot of customers is implementing cloud integration, and I think there's like 5,000 customers, though I would imagine most of them comes from the success factors application where they get this as part of the license agreement. Integration. Big focus. Both from Keynote perspective, there's a lot of, I think there's like 3,000 APIs being released, which is a lot. And they're using the API hub as a way to organize this and figure out what's happening on the platform. Then they talked about the open connectors, which is a platform that allow you to connect to multiple different cloud systems in a standardized way. Because normally, if you wanted to do any cloud development, you had to, or you have to integrate with any API. You have to figure out, spend some research figuring out how do we actually call this API, how do we do authentication, what does the data structure look like, and that is one of the things that they have now achieved and made easier with this way. So that's one of the key areas that has happened. I do still need to figure out where it fits into the overall picture and where you need to use it and when to use the cloud integration, and there will be integration between them, so you get a open connector in connector in cloud platform integration, so you can just call this in a seamless way and get into your platform. So that would be really useful, at least for these scenarios where you need to communicate with some API from a third party that you really don't understand and have a hard time figure out how do we connect with. So some questions come up, how do we connect with API or API, whatever, then it would be a lot easier if similar applications were published there. API management, seemed also to be one of the key areas that would be focused on, because you got the API hub where that's going to expose all APIs, and then this will also give you some insight on what's going on. So I think that was actually the main things that I just wanted to share about what was going on in the integration space. PI and a lot of efforts going into the cloud products and figuring out how to run them. There were some good hands-on sessions. So if you like this video, give me a like. I do appreciate it. If there's anything I missed, do let me know. Hey, Jona or Lana, thanks for watching. Yes. It's been interesting with this thing, and I guess maybe a little emotional that the things that you have worked on is now kind of being discontinued. There will be support packages, but I guess no really new innovation going on for the PI systems. So that would be interesting. So there will just be 2 new features. There will be a testing application that is obviously competing with the Figure tool, but I need to dig more deep into what it is and where our tool is different. But with the announcement that that's not going to happen much, I guess from an upgrade perspective, there will probably not be that many upgrades where it will require testing. So I guess a larger focus on the testing would be done on the development that you're going to make. And that's one of the things that we are investing in a way that enables you to do those things. So that's one of our big things that we're working on. And then the other was on advancement was some more capabilities in the B2B toolkit to make EDI a little easier. Not sure what it is, but I guess we'll see that. Oh, the best thing actually I think was I got hands-on on the integration content advisor. That was actually a pretty interesting tool with what you can do in it. And I really like one of the approaches that they're doing to this. So obviously they're trying to figure out if you're dealing with this type of customer, it's these things. And because they're automating this, one of the things they can actually do is if you have this IDOC format or IDOC segment with partner, and you specify that I want to look at buyer or seller as 2 different entities, they would actually go in and find the qualifier, and then in the pre-processing, they will split out those as separate elements, making it a lot easier to do integration without having to do this complicated looping functionality that you need to do. So that would be really useful for the scenarios where you have EDI mappings and then going on. I guess it will be a new tool you need to figure out how do we actually do, because there's obviously just plain mapping, but there's also the more complicated thing about how do we map these things together, and there's an XSLT way you can inject some content into this. So I'm looking forward to see when we'll be using that at customer sites and figure out how does it really work in these scenarios. So yes, that was what I wanted to share. Now I hope I can go to the airport, get my flight home, and everything will be good. If you like this video, do give me a like. Please share that or subscribe so you'll get new updates for this. And I'll probably be creating a podcast episode that's about some of these things. So stay tuned. But right now, I just wanted to share a little about what was happening. So thanks for watching. Talk to you. Bye.